Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Monday crypto and finance recap. So let's kick things off with Michael Saylor, who's at it again. He just posted the Saylor Bitcoin tracker, which is basically his way of hinting that more Bitcoin purchases are coming. And speaking of price action, there's $1 billion in short positions that will get liquidated if Bitcoin pumps to 93,000. So we could see some fireworks soon. Now, the odds of President Trump creating a national Bitcoin reserve this year have dropped to just 2%. But here's the thing. Texas already made history as the first state in America to buy Bitcoin for their strategic Bitcoin reserve, so states are moving even if the federal government isn't. It's kind of wild to think that 8 years ago today, Bitcoin reached an all-time high of $15,000, and now we're talking about numbers 6 times higher than that. The Bitcoin MENA conference 2025 just kicked off in Abu Dhabi, so there's a lot of energy in the Middle East around crypto right now. Shifting to global markets, China just posted a record $1 trillion annual trade surplus despite the ongoing trade war with the US, which shows their export machine is still humming along. JPMorgan CEO Jamie Dimon came out saying Europe has a real problem because they're driving out business, investment, and innovation. Meanwhile, Elon Musk says X is seeing record-breaking downloads in Europe, so there's clearly some interesting dynamics playing out across the pond. Back in the US, the Treasury Secretary says we'll finish the year with 3% GDP growth, which is pretty solid. Now let's talk about the gold rush because central banks are stacking at an insane pace. Uzbekistan boosted their gold reserves by 10 tons in November, bringing them to 380 tons total. Poland's central bank added 14 tons in November, which brings their 2025 year-to-date purchases to 96 tons, with total holdings now at 544 tons. Brazil's central bank added 11 tons in November, lifting their 3-month purchases to 43 tons, with total reserves at 172 tons. And China added 30,000 troy ounces to their gold reserves in November, totaling 74.12 million ounces, which marks their 13th straight month of buying. It's clear that central banks around the world are hedging against currency risks in a big way. In corporate news, Qatar Airways just named Hamad Ali Al Qatar as their new Group Chief Executive Officer. An ex terminated the EU Commission's ad account for taking advantage of an exploit to artificially increase its reach, which is pretty bold. Here's an interesting data point. The Fed's balance sheet has shrunk 24% over the past 3 years, while the S&P 500 advanced 82%, which shows that markets have been climbing even as liquidity has been pulled back. Moving to altcoins, Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin is closing in on a $1.3 billion market cap, which is impressive growth. And Ethereum just secured the #1 position for net inflows in the past month, hitting $4.7 billion. So institutional money is clearly flowing into Ethereum right now. There's some action on Hyperliquid where a newly created wallet deposited 3 million USDC and opened a 10 times hype long position. And speaking of Hyperliquid, they just announced that USDC is now linked between Hypercore and HyperEVM, allowing secure natively minted cross-chain USDC deposits, though Hype itself dropped below $30. ZK Sync announced they're deprecating ZK Sync Lite, which was Ethereum's first ZK rollup in 2026. So that's the end of an era. Binance just secured a global license under the ADGM framework, which is another win for regulatory clarity. On the sentiment side, a Paradigm general partner made an interesting observation saying that historically when people start writing manifestos about how all of crypto is a scam, it tends to be a great time to actually build stuff. And the Paradigm founder says this current moment is the Netscape or iPhone moment for crypto, working bigger than ever before. So the builders are staying optimistic. That's your wrap for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another update.